Hey everybody, welcome back. It's me again, Scott. So those of you that took the class, welcome back. Those of you that are watching for the first time, maybe with someone, and they're kind of explaining to you what's going on, and you're just evaluating some things. What these tutorials are recaps from our class that we had on the lease options, and just kind of recap some of the focal points. This particular tutorial may be a little lengthy. Some of the others are 4 or 5 minutes long. Just to recap, this one is going to be what to say with the sellers when these people are calling you off of your marketing efforts, whether it's your yard signs, whether it's your car magnets, newspaper ads, whatever, word of mouth, realtor, one of your power team, whatever. The goal is to get your phone to ring. If your phone ain't ringing, you ain't making no money. And what I highly suggest you do, if I didn't suggest this in the class, which I hope I did, is go to GoogleVoice.com, get you a separate number. It's free. You can get a local area code exchange number, 502-859-606. That's Kentucky, wherever you are, whether you're Nashville or Cincinnati, wherever else we're holding these classes. GoogleVoice.com will allow you to set up a free number that will ring to your cell phone number. That way you have a way of tracking and screening your calls, knowing that you're getting calls off of your marketing dollars or your marketing efforts. And that's real important. That way you don't let a call go by, you just didn't recognize the number. And then it'll ring right to your cell phone number. So I highly suggest that you do that. You can even get an 800 number for nickels. It's relatively inexpensive to do that. But this tutorial is going to be what to say with the sellers when they call. Okay, this is going to be very, very straightforward. If you don't want to talk to people, if you're scared to pick up that phone, this is not for you. You need to actually want to solve people's problems, and you actually have to like and enjoy working with people, and your people skills have to come out in this particular part of the transaction, or nothing's going to happen for you at all. I've got some notes in front of me, so if I'm looking down, I'm just trying to probably recap and stay on point. I've done this stuff a million times. I've got 20 different variations of the same, mental script in my head that I say. I truly care about what I'm saying to these people, and it's the same information gets across. But sometimes I mix it up a little bit, depending on what their particular situation is. So, bottom line is we need to know what to say with the sellers. This is going to be very crucial in determining right off the bat whether you get the deal or whether they're going to allow you to even evaluate their property and their situation on whether you're going to get the deal or not. So, once you have somebody calling you from your marketing efforts, how you handle this really sets the tone for the entire process. Remember, these are people that are in despair. They have a circumstance that's, causing them to give you a telephone call. They're not proud of it. They're not happy about it. They're going to be reluctant to give you a telephone call, and they're going to want somebody to understand. So don't be a robot. Answer your phone professionally. Hello, Scott Franklin, Franklin Properties. How may I help you? This is Scott. Hi, Franklin Properties. This is Scott. How can I help you? Well, Scott, I'm calling about one of your signs in the yard or your signs on the road, or I saw your ad saying that you help people, with payments or buy houses. I would like to know what your program's like. I can absolutely help you out with that. Let me get some basic information from you, and then we can go from there to see if maybe one of our programs will be a fit for you. Now, at this point, if you're driving, get a phone number, call them back, and ask them, say, Mr. Jones is, or whatever their name is. We don't know that it's Mr. Jones at this point, but absolutely, I can help you out with that. Is this phone number a good number to give you a shout back? I'm actually driving down the road right now, and I want to make sure that I get all the information necessary to see if this is going to be something that might work for your situation. Can I give you a shout back as soon as I'm off the road and can sit down in front of my desk and make sure that I give this the proper attention that we need to give it? Absolutely. 859 blah 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 blah. And with whom am I speaking? Great. So at that point, you take, if that's the extent of the conversation, be professional about it. You'd be surprised, and I want you guys to do this, to call some of your competition. You're going to see signs on the side of the road. We buy houses, foreclosure help, we take over payments. You're going to see the same marketing that you're going to be doing around the city. Call them. Because I promise you I've done this. Call them. Hello? Hey, John. Hey, what's up? I mean, these people are calling those folks as well. And they're going to want to deal with somebody that sounds professional right off the bat. Hi, Franklin Properties. This is Scott. How may I help you? And you'd be surprised, just a professional, upbeat voice is going to make a big difference other than, hello? Oh, yeah, I had that sign out. What's going on? How can I help you? What's your situation? Remember, these people have a circumstance that is causing them to call you. So you want to be very empathetic with that and put yourself in their shoes. So let's pretend you've got time to talk to these folks and you've got your pen and pad in front of you because there's some things you need to find out about the property before you can even go to the next step. So when they call, yeah, Scott, I'm calling about one of your signs or wherever they saw a newspaper ad. Well, great. Let me take a few minutes and go over some things with you and just find out a little bit about your situation and see what we can do to hopefully help you out. Now, I can't guarantee anything because our program doesn't work with every situation. But if it does, I promise you that I'll put my best foot forward and hopefully have the chance and the opportunity to help whatever your problem is. So John, Jane, Chuck, whatever their name is, briefly tell me what prompted you to give me a telephone call. What's going on that would prompt you to call one of our signs as opposed to maybe calling a realtor trying to sell your property? At this point, they're going to tell you. They'll give you the gambit. Sometimes they'll give you more than what you want to know, and you got to keep them on track. The basics of what you're wanting to find out here is why you call. What's going on in your life that's making you seek a sign on the side of the road or an ad in the newspaper asking for immediate help. That's what you want to know. Well, John, what's going on with the property right now, or what situation in your life has prompted you to give us a telephone call to ask for some help? It's nothing to be ashamed of. We get calls every day, and this things happen every single day in a wide range of issues, and we help them all. But in order for me to really kind of see what's going to fit, what's going on, they'll tell you. Okay, once they tell you, empathize with them. Don't just glaze over it. If it's, well, I lost my job and we're about to lose the house, I know I'm going to have to get out of here and we need some help. Well, John, I completely understand. I mean, you're not alone. This happens every single day, and these are some of the situations. Most of the situations that I help people out with are making sure that they maintain their credit rating, don't get behind in the payments, and eventually cash you out of the property so you have some of the equity, you walk away with it. These are some of the programs that we offer, and there are some ways we can buy your house outright from you if the situation calls for it. But I don't want to put the cart before the horse here. Tell me a little bit about the house. What shape is the house in right now? They'll tell you what shape the house is in. You don't want to go down your checklist and be how many square feet, how many bathrooms, what's the yard like, any repairs needed. Just want to have a conversation with them. John, tell me about the house. I mean, what kind of shape is it in? Okay, how old is it? Okay, so I mean, if you had to guesstimate right now, you'd know better than I would. What would you consider, the value of the neighborhood? What would you think the home would go for if you were to be able to sell it conventionally right now? Have you had it appraised? Tell me some of the other things that might be going on with it, and then you can basically go down your checklist of in conversation asking these folks, what's going on with the property. John, right now, I mean, I know that you called us off of one of these signs for some help. Are you currently behind on your payments right now? And if so, if they say yes, then how many months are you behind that we may need to catch up for you? Okay. If they're none, great. Well, let's see if they say they're not any behind. Well, great. Let's see if we can keep it from you having to even get one behind, and kind of go from there. Well, great, John. I'm glad you haven't had to worry about getting behind yet. How close would you say you are at this point to where you might fall behind? Okay. John, I know you mentioned you might be a payment or two behind. Have you received a letter from the bank yet, or a call from the bank stating that they're going to start the foreclosure process? So you're finding out in conversation without just sounding mechanical at this point. You want to really empathize with them, but stay on point. I mean, you want to hear their problems, but you definitely want to stay on point as well. Some of the other things you're going to need to find out with them are, okay, so John, I realize you're not behind on your mortgage yet. Is it just the one mortgage that they have on the property, or are there multiple mortgages on the property? You need to know how many mortgages there are, because you're going to need to know this when you try to establish a price that you're going to end up buying the property for, from the seller. So the key thing is, you're going to get the basics of the information that you need to know in order to evaluate the deal. So what you need to know is, John, how much do you owe in total on the property? If you were to guess, I don't need it to be exact, but kind of guesstimate out of all the mortgages, if it's just one, what do you think you owe on the property? Again, you would know better than I would. what's going on in your neighborhood. What are things selling for that are similar to your home? What do you think the value might be at this point if you were able to sell it outright on your own? So you want to make sure you get these pieces of information in a conversation-like form, because we need to figure out if we're going to be able to put a deal together. Once you've gathered this information, you've got the property address, you've got the basics on the house, how many mortgages there are. You're also going to ask them, well, John, let me ask you this. I realize that you might be a little bit behind on that if you find out they're behind or anything. Is there anything else like are there any federal tax liens or any judgments against you that would prohibit the sale of a property on a clean title? Or are there some things that we need to work around, or anything else that might come up that we didn't cover here? You kind of want to cover your bases on this because you want to find out as much as you possibly can. The main thing is talk to them like a human being, not mechanical, and just conversationally. John, I understand what you're going through. And some of these things we need to really figure out up front to see if it's going to match one of our programs. That seems to be a theme I'm going with, match with one of our programs. Now, some of these people are not going to want to tell you this information. If they don't, and that's okay. Move to the next one. If you ask somebody, well, John, let me get some basic information from you here first to see if it's going to be a fit for one of our programs, and you start going through it. Well, why do you need to know that? I mean, I don't know what the house is worth. What do you need to know what the house is worth for? I mean, I lost my job. I might be behind. You said you could help. How much will you buy my house for? You got to keep in mind they're not trying to be abrasive intentionally, but they're going through a tough time, and they want to get some direct answers, and you've got to be right and direct back with them. And John, I understand this is tough. I promise you're not alone in this, but let me be very clear on this. In order for me to help or even see if I can help with one of our programs, there's some key information that I absolutely have to have in order to even put an offer together for you. If you're not willing to do that, I understand. It's okay. It doesn't hurt my feelings, but I just can't put together an offer for one of our programs if I don't know anything about what's going on. So if you're not ready for that at this time, give me a shout back when you are. I'll be here when you are. We're not going anywhere. Or would you like me to call you back at a later time when maybe you want to speak to your wife a little bit more in detail? Because we do things in one of two ways. And this is really important. This is going to be consistent with all of your conversations to get to that appointment. We do things in one of two ways. We can buy your property in one of two ways. Either all cash at a deep discounted rate, which I promise you that's never ever really going to happen. If it does, call me and we'll partner deals monetarily. We either buy homes at a deep discounted rate cash, or we do it terms. We find one of our pre-screened, fully qualified families to take over your payments and then cash out on a short-term lease with an option to buy the property. And I need to know which way we're going to go, or if it's something that you're going to be open for. So this is the way you're going to treat the sellers. You need to be open. You need to be empathetic of their problem. You need to listen to them. You need to keep them on track. You need to be conversational and not mechanical, but you also need to be direct. I mean, you need to let them know and posture with authority if they're going to be combative with you. I understand. It's no issues if you don't want to give the information. It's okay. Just understand there's nothing I can do for you at this point until you're ready to do that. And if they are ready to do it, great, Mr. Jones. Set the appointment. I think I have the basic package of what I need. Let me do a little bit of research. Let me give you a shout back, and maybe we can set a time where I can come sit down face to face, take a look at the house, and kind of go over some of our programs in greater detail. You're going to shoot for that. That's your goal, is to get in front of them. And once you do that, then there's a whole other tutorial that we're going to work on that. But this is what you say with the sellers to, from the first phone call to hopefully get that appointment, and how to interact with them if they're going to be rude with you. So take the posturing authority. Be kind, be empathetic, be professional, answer your phone, return your messages, call them back when you say you're going to call them back, and I promise you that you'll get more deals than you lose if they're workable deals. If you have questions about this, or if you'd like anything in greater detail, shoot me an email on the Contact Me section. I will get back with you, and we will go from there. Hope this was helpful, and I'll talk to you soon.